What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And today we've got a couple of JK Wranglers here in the shop today that we're going to be doing a little bit of diagnosis on one and a little bit of maintenance on the other. And I thought I would bring you guys along because it's not always cool, exciting, fun things that you're doing on vehicles, putting lifts on, doing cool performance things. Sometimes you're fixing weird engine noises and doing some spark plugs. So, like I said, thought I would bring you guys along on the diagnosis process here on this one, and then we'll hopefully throw some spark plugs in that JK over there. Now, both of these are getting ready to take a long trip, not together, but this Jeep is getting ready to drive like to New Mexico or something. I don't even know how long of a drive that is here from Kansas, but I know it's quite a way. So, good friend of mine wanted me to take a look at it, make sure everything was as it should be. And oh, by the way, the engine's making this weird noise. So go ahead and look at that if you will. So that's what we're gonna get into on this. And now this JK is getting ready to go on a trip up into the mountains, I believe, into the Colorado mountains. And he wants some fresh spark plugs in that thing. And he opened the hood and went, man, that doesn't look terribly fun. As you guys know, or maybe you don't know, on the 3.6 liter, the upper intake manifold has to come off. And on that Jeep over there, it's got a bumper, it's got a winch, and it's got lights, and all of that make it not terribly nice to do that job on. So that's why it's over here. But starting off here with this JK, I've already gotten to slide under this thing, look at it. We don't have any oil cooler leaking. We've got good brakes front and rear. We have no massive leaks from anything. So underneath wise, I don't see anything wrong with this Jeep. We've got good tread depth on the tires. All of our lights work, all of the kind of good things that you'd want on a road trip. It even has engine oil and it's clean and full, which is always beneficial. But our engine noise. Now, driving this thing over here, of course, you could hear the noise. It was a whining bearing type noise. Now, that's kind of what this is for, a stethoscope, more specifically a mechanic's stethoscope. Now, there are a couple ways you can diagnose noises. Now, again, we will fire this thing up and go through it, but one of the really nice tools that's actually really cheap, I'll throw a link, an Amazon link down in the description if I can find one like this, is a mechanic's stethoscope. Now, unlike or like a doctor's stethoscope that they have in their ears, they can then go on your heart, listen to different things. This has a long metal rod which then transmits noise to this, into the hose, into your ears. And man, you could really fine tune and pinpoint what is making noise, or at least the location of noise. Even on internal engine noises, you can really listen, you know, along a valve cover, along an oil pan, and again, very hopefully get you a lot closer to where you need to be. But on this, we've got a bearing accessory belt drive noise. And again, that works really, really well to be able to pinpoint and isolate which pulley, which accessory, what part is making all that racket. Now, even if you don't have a mechanic's stethoscope, a pry bar or a long screwdriver or a breaker bar handle in this case often will work really well too. You can put this thing up to your ear and listen around on, again, different pulleys, different things under the hood to help, again, isolate it. But having that stethoscope really kind of does make things really nice and easy. So let's fire this thing up. It's going to be really kind of hard to show you guys with the airbox and everything on a JK here, but we're going to poke around on this thing and hopefully isolate and find what in the world the noise is here on this thing. All right, guys, so as you can probably hear, our loud whine noise. Now, again, I'm not sure how well that's going to come through on audio versus my talking versus whatever, but with this long metal rod, we're able to go down and poke around on different things. You know, I can get to the alternator here and listen to that noise in different positions. I can go down further to our engine belt idler and notice that we've got even a little bit more noise than we had up here at the alternator. So we must be getting closer to our issue. You know, we can even get down here onto our our engine belt tensioner, and that has a little bit less noise. You know, down low, we've got our power steering pump. We've got our AC compressor over here. That thing is dead quiet, so that's definitely not our noise. We've got our water pump down here that we can listen to, and again, we don't really have much noise. We do have one more idler pulley up here. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could hear that upper idler. Is extremely loud and growly. That is absolutely the loudest thing. Oh my gosh. Like I said, that is absolutely the loudest thing that we have put this stethoscope on in this general vicinity. So that's what we're going to be going after, getting the belt off, getting that pulley off, spinning it by hand, and seeing if we have correctly diagnosed this thing. Now guys, last but not least, one other thing I noticed on my general inspection is the thermostat. Now you might be wondering, well, did it have a check engine light for the thermostat? No, it didn't. Is the thermostat leaking? No, it's not. It is totally fine and totally normal, but I saw a really bad brand name on that thermostat, and that's Motorad. Now, if you guys have seen, I think I've talked about it multiple times on the channel, the 3.6 liter, we have found a lot of issues with thermostats, not with the Mopar thermostats, but with aftermarket thermostats sticking closed and overheating engines. The second I saw that and she told me she was going on a long road trip, I absolutely told her, I said, sorry, I can't let you even leave Wichita with this Motorad thermostat on this thing. I know you're not having issues. I know you don't have a check engine light, but sorry, I'm putting one on to feel good about you leaving. So while we're down in this thing, we're going to be throwing a Mopar OEM thermostat on this so I can rest assured knowing this engine's not going to overheat and cause her to be broke down in the middle of Lord knows where with this Jeep out on the open highway. So thermostat, specifically a Mopar thermostat, we're going to check out that idler pulley and hopefully get this thing road ready for a multi-long hour 600+ mile road trip. Oh my gosh, guys. All right, you guys are not going to be able to hear this, but oh, this bearing is absolutely crunchy. It doesn't even want to turn. Oh, it just, again, you guys won't be able to hear it, but I think we diagnosed our upper idler pulley correctly because sheesh, she rough. Now with the magic of YouTube, we've got a fresh Mopar idler pulley here ready to go back on. And we'll hopefully have some instant gratification here, being able to fire this back up without a ridiculous squealing noise. Now guys, we'll real quickly get our new Mopar thermostat in this thing before we fire it up. Now there's a couple of things I like to get out of the way real quickly as I'm doing a thermostat. Is one, our coolant overflow tank. That thing's just big and in the way. And then secondly, I like to get our throttle body out of the way because again, that's kind of in the way of our bleeder screw on that thermostat housing. Now we can actually kind of see what we're working with here. Now I do have a drain pan underneath to hopefully catch most of the mess, but I do like to throw some pinch off pliers here on the upper radiator hose to hopefully hold a little bit more coolant in the system. Get our upper Radiator hose clamp off. And now with our new thermostat ready, we can get the 2 bolts out for the thermostat housing. Like I said, we'll attempt to do a quick swap here to minimize our coolant loss. Get our new thermostat back on the timing cover. Get some bolts in it. Our clamp slid back into place. Now we're going to go ahead and open up our bleeder screw and then pull our radiator cap with our pinch-off pliers off and out of the way. And once we get that radiator cap off, we've got coolant bled up at the top of our thermostat housing. And now all that's left is topping off our radiator, getting our thermostat thrown back on, and our coolant tank back in place. And guys, hopefully you can hear the difference now with our new idler pulley, or at least the lack of screaming from that belt drive on the front of this 3.6 liter. So we're nice and quiet now, and we've got a good known thermostat that's not gonna stick closed and absolutely smoke this motor out on the highway. All right, moving on to the second white JK here in the garage. We are, again, just doing a nice set of spark plugs. And again, if you've been on the channel for any amount of time, you know how much of a stickler I am for OEM spark plugs. And that's, of course, why we're putting Mopar, the factory Iridium spark plugs, back into this thing. Now, a lot of our Jeeps, a lot of our Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge stuff are extremely sensitive to spark plugs. I've had Jeeps come in, or any Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge for that matter, come in with misfire codes, runability issues, pulled the spark plugs out and found ridiculous, goofy, weird, completely wrong, you know, triple fire E3 super spark plugs in the thing, causing the issue. Pulled those out, put the factory called for, whether that's an Iridium plug, a copper plug, whatever, and absolutely fixed the issue. So at least on the Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge stuff, I always recommend factory spark plugs. Even if you're paying a little bit more, go with the factory plugs and save yourself the time from pulling the intake, doing whatever you're doing a second time to fix the issue, or having to pay me to do it a second time to fix the issue that you caused trying to help your vehicle out. So let's get this intake off. Let's rip some spark plugs out of this thing and get this Jeep ready again for some Colorado mountain adventure. Well, guys, I guess that just about does it out here in the shop tonight. We've got one JK taken care of here with a fresh idler pulley that won't be screaming all the way to New Mexico. And we've got a new Mopar thermostat. Again, not that we had an issue with the old one, but in my heart, I knew I could not let this thing go out on the road with me knowing it has an aftermarket Motorrad thermostat, which is going to fail. If you've got an aftermarket on your Jeep, just get a Mopar and go ahead and change it now, so you're not having to send a comment in the future saying, man, hey, you were right, my Jeep overheated and it was a horrible day. And over here on the other JK, we've got some fresh spark plugs in this thing, and it's a little more maintained and ready for some, Colorado mountains. I believe, again, that's where it's going. So thank you guys, as always, for coming out into the garage, into the shop today. And yeah, it's not always cool mods and lift kits and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just normal repairs and maintenance, and I think we got a little bit of that done tonight. So guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.